congratulations on your new role, COO
Yeah,
of the largest ski resort in North America, Whistler Blackcomb. Have you settled in?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it's a year next week. So, in fact, we fly home to Whistler on Monday, and that'll be the day we arrived last year as well, to start in my new role. And yeah, it feels like home. I mean, so does Australia, obviously, but yeah, it's just been an incredible 12 months, and you know, great. Feel very fortunate to live in the community of Whistler and in the Sea to Sky region. It's you know, just the natural beauty of the area and the community that we've become a part of. It's been incredible, and looking forward to the second 12 months.
Yeah, so a lot of expats are there over there? A lot of Aussies?
Yeah, there are. I mean, yeah, there are times when I think, wow, I've definitely been sent over from Australia to look after the Aussies. There's a lot of them, a lot of us, should I say. But there's, yeah, people from all over the world living and working in Whistler, and, you know, a lot of Canadians that have grown up out east. There seems to be an incredible number of folks on our team with Ontario on their name badge as their home province. And yeah, then folks from, you know, around Europe, particularly Great Britain, and then obviously the Aussies and the Kiwis. So it's good fun. It's a nice melting pot, and lots of Americans. There's you know, pretty sizable contingent of people that travel north every weekend to ski out of Washington State, Seattle. So you know, that just provides for a really nice environment to live and work in.
Yeah, well, I noticed when I was on the chairlift, lots of Americans, lots of Spanish, and people just from all over, I suppose. So.
Yeah, Mexicans are enjoying visiting and skiing, which is great to see. So yeah, it certainly makes it a truly international resort, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, so you've been in the industry for many decades. Where did it all start for you?
So I started in the industry as an instructor back in 1990. So a year out of high school, and worked for 4 seasons at Hotham instructing. So did that whilst I was studying at university in Melbourne, which was a lot harder than it is nowadays for kids, because of course we didn't have remote classes. We had to actually be at university in person, which I found challenging at times for sure, just because of the lure of the mountains. But yeah, really started working in ski school, and then made my way into sales and marketing in around 1996. I think I had a couple of years out of the industry working in events and incentive marketing back in Melbourne, and then was offered to take on the role of marketing manager in December 96. And to be honest, I thought I'd stay for 3 years and get some good marketing experience working at the time. I think it was probably 12 months after Hotham had acquired Falls Creek, and you know, we were certainly looking to take both resorts to market in a big way. I remember taking full-page ads in The Age promoting both resorts, and yeah, it was a really fun time. And I guess, you know, just one thing led to another, and before I knew it, I'd taken on a role as group marketing manager across Falls Creek and Hotham, and then moved into general management in 2006. And in between time, managed to raise a young family. So yeah, but certainly it all started on the front line, which you know, so many people in the industry, that's how our careers have started, whether it's in the ski school or in lift operations or or grooming. It's a great place to start. It's where you learn this.
Yeah. And had you sort of grown up skiing, or was you just thought you'd just go and do a season?
Yeah, no, definitely
a passion of yours.
I would think I was chatting to my folks a while ago, and they said, you do realise you first put skis on when we were visiting some family friends in Ontario, in Canada, and it wasn't downhilling, it was cross country. And I think we were fortunate enough to go down and see some other family friends. So the first time I downhill skied was in Loveland, which is just outside of Denver, a long time ago. And from there, obviously, spent time skiing at Buller and then Falls Creek for a couple of seasons, and then moved across to Hotham. Was lucky enough to go to a school that competed in interschools in the early days, and we trained at Hotham and had a lot of fun for a few years. And that's when I decided I'd really like to ski instruct whilst I was at uni. And I just remember interschools then was quite a small event, and now it's such a huge event with, you know, kids from prep right through to year 12 competing. So back in those days we certainly weren't wearing race suits or anything like that. It was you know, your ski pants and a rugby top or something, and went. But it was great fun, and met lots of great people competing in those events all those years ago.
Yeah, right. And so a soft spot for Hotham, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Love Hotham. It's so unique. It's an upside down resort. I love sharing some of my experiences there with my team at Whistler, because obviously it's completely different. You know, Whistler, where our base area is at 675 meters and the peak's at 2200. Obviously, a lot of vertical, and you know, it's taken me a while to adjust to you know, what the weather is in the village at Whistler is generally nothing like the upper reaches of the mountain and into the Alpine. So, you know, it's generally 10 degrees cooler, and it can be, you know, it can be wet snow, sometimes a little bit wet in the village, and then dumping snow up in the Alpine. And so I was chatting to the general manager at the Fairmont a couple of months ago, and he said, you know, Belinda, Whistler's a place where you've just got to pick up your skis and go, because once you get into the mid to upper reaches of the mountain, it's always a great experience. And that's the same in summer. You know, you can be down in the valley and there can be that sort of low cloud hanging through the valley, and then boom, you pop up mid-mountain and it's brilliant sunshine and great hiking weather. And yeah, Hotham is the opposite. You know, what you see out your window is what you get. And
you're at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, one thing I miss is the brilliant sunrises and sunsets. We certainly were and are very spoilt with those at Hotham particularly. And you know, just being able to walk out of the office in the evening and see the sun setting was always incredible. I've got so many photos of sunsets and sunrises at Hotham. It's incredible.
Yeah, looking out along at Feathertop and along the roads back there.
Yeah, it's a really unique view. Now I've got the Black Tusk to look out from the top of the peak chair, which is pretty inspiring as well.
Yeah, well, I did get one clear day when I was there. Every other day it was all, it was snowing actually, so I wasn't complaining about that either. Yeah.
No, you can't complain about a few power turns, but
yeah, exactly.
It is nice. I mean, I remember being at Whistler, oh gosh, probably 5 or so years ago with our kids, and it snowed 10 days straight. We had so much snow. It was a great 10 days, but I kept wanting it to clear so the kids could see the scenery, because it really is spectacular.
Yeah.
You know, skied in Europe and in other parts of North America, and yeah, Whistler's views they're hard to beat, that's for sure.
And do you get to go out much at all skiing yourself now that you're
absolutely
really busy there?
Yeah, I've always maintained that you need to get out and ski. You need to know what's going on. You know, whether that's helping out in the morning on the lifts, loading gondolas, or actually getting out and having a ski. So yeah, there'll be some days where I'll get up there and I might only ski through to the valley, but at least I've been out, get a sense of how the resort's skiing. And at Whistler, that's super important, because we really do ski at 3 elevations, with the Alpine, mid-mountain, and then the lower mountain. Yeah, it's just great to be able to get out. I feel even if I go out and do a couple of runs, had a great morning a couple of months ago with our IT manager. He came and got me from the office and said, "Come on, let's go." And we went right up and see some of the salmon chutes area off the Glacier Express chair, and then went up and dropped in, or climbed up Spanky's ladder and dropped into, I think it was the Diamond Bowl over there into the Blackcomb Glacier, and it was just beautiful. And it was done and dusted in 2 hours, and carried that energy through the rest of my working week. And I'll often say, if I do that, I can live on that for a month. Energy you get out of being out in the mountains and in the natural environment. And did you get into Blackcomb Glacier when you were?
I didn't get into the glacier. There was only that one clear day. I mean, because I was just skiing by myself as well, so
okay.
I wasn't too adventurous. I was just kind of warming up my ski legs for the heli trip. Really, it was just fun. Get a few
it's magical.
And because I had an epic pass, I thought, I had to come and check out Whistler.
Yeah, good. Great. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, and so how was the winter in general?
Yeah, it was good. It was certainly a challenging start. There's no doubt. We had some challenging snowmaking conditions leading into the holiday season, but the team did an incredible job. I'm always in awe of what our snowmakers and grieving teams can do when they work together to build out the mountain. And we started to get some decent snowfalls as we came out of the holiday season. Temperature plummeted to, I think, into the -20s early January, which was certainly an eye-opener for me coming from Australia. Although I've experienced those temperatures before in Alberta skiing, where it can be pretty fresh at the likes of Lake Louise and Sunshine. And then, it's we've definitely experienced everything that the Pacific Northwest has to offer in terms of weather conditions, and March and April have been incredible. So that was sort of what nature threw at us. But for me, it was really learning how Whistler operates in winter. I had the good fortune to start in my role just as we rolled out of winter last year and into summer operations, and I guess that provided me the opportunity to really get to know the team when the pace is just that bit slower, and the community. But it certainly felt like I was going through orientation again, coming into winter, just learning how the resort operates, and getting both mountains open, getting our access trails through to the village open, incredibly important. And just the size and scale of the operation, it's magnificent. And I haven't had a huge amount of exposure to ski patrol operations because at Hotham and Falls Creek, they're operated by the resort management boards, and I certainly started my learning journey when I was at Perisher, because we operated patrol there. And so it's been great to spend time with the ski patrol and learning about not just snow safety but avalanche control, and just a completely different dimension. It was a lot of fun. And then just working alongside the team, I love being on the front line and draw a lot of energy out of our big days. And we had some great powder days where everybody wanted to get out and ski, and just getting everyone up the mountain safely, and watching as the resort opens up progressively as we can ensure that the terrain is safe to access. It's a lot of fun and really inspiring.
I suppose just having that terrain, that avalanche, terrain that's susceptible to avalanche is just, I suppose, so different to anything in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the Australian side and backcountry, the risk is there at times, but certainly, it's been a learning journey for me. And, with the temperature fluctuations that we sometimes see, avalanches don't just occur when it's really cold. They also occur when the temperatures warm up suddenly. And you know, in our region, we do get temperature fluctuations that are certainly challenging to navigate for the team. But yeah, just incredibly, I guess, humbled by, you know, working alongside patrollers that have been in the resort for 30, 40 years. Their knowledge is amazing.
Yeah. And so do you think your experience at Perisher is kind of like a step towards working at Whistler, I suppose, like on the larger scale than Hotham?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was, before I was at Perisher, I was overseeing both our operations at Hotham and Falls Creek. And, you know, that was a challenging few years through COVID. And I'm certainly very familiar with both of our Victorian resorts. So a great stepping stone via Perisher to Whistler. It probably happened a little bit faster than I thought it would, but I just had a ball working at Perisher. It's you know, living on the mountain there year round was a really great experience. Very, very different to where I'm living now, obviously, because there's not a lot that happens in Perisher in summertime, but it's beautiful. And yeah, the size and scale of Perisher as a resort, with the 4 resorts brought together as one, and obviously the ski tube. It's the only rack rail in our organisation, and really enjoyed working alongside the team there and learning about rail. It wasn't something that I'd been exposed to previously. Obviously had experience with the airport at Hotham during its construction and operating days. But, yeah, Perisher's a great resort, and just loved getting to know the terrain and the team, and yeah, miss the wonderful folks that I was able to work with for a short time there.
And so did the job come up at Whistler and you just sort of jumped at it straight away? Was it a difficult decision to make?
I think, look, it was a great opportunity from a life stage perspective, and I think, like a lot of women, I was given a little bit of a nudge and encouragement by some of my team to have a look at the role. And yeah, for us it was good timing. Our kids had finished school and both studying, and one of them is ski instructing while she's at university, and so wouldn't say she's necessarily following in my footsteps, but certainly keen on a career in the industry, it seems. And so yeah, for me it was yeah, why not put your hat in the ring and see how you go. And yeah, it's been an incredibly humbling opportunity and a great experience, and I'm just, you know, so delighted and humbled at the same time with the support that I've got, just not from just my team in Whistler Blackcomb, but Vail Resorts generally. And you know, we're a leadership company, and you know, invest heavily in leadership development, and so really felt that, you know, since we were acquired in 2019, I've benefited from that in a number of ways and continue to do so. And yeah, it's just an incredible support network. You don't feel as lonely, and I guess I've been really fortunate that that's been the case with Hotham and Falls Creek being under common ownership since I joined in my marketing role. You can always pick up the phone and talk to somebody, and you know, they're generally either living or have lived a similar experience. And that's what's so great about being a part of a network of resorts. We're 42 resorts now, with Montana closing last week, and you know, you've just got this group of colleagues that have this incredibly rich and diverse experience, and there's probably no one that hasn't dealt with a similar challenge or opportunity that we might be facing. So, and I think that goes for the industry generally. You know, I'll always remember with great fondness the collegiate nature of the Australian industry, and you know, able to pick up the phone and ask a technical question of your colleagues at other resorts, not just the ones that are owned by Vail Resorts. It was awesome. It's a great tight-knit community, and it's, you know, even at Whistler, it's I love it when people come up and talk about when they did a season at one of our Australian resorts, and the memories that they have of that. And yeah, it's a cool industry to be a part of, that's for sure.
Yeah. And what's it like being a female at the top level of such a male-dominated industry, really?
It's I mean, it's been a journey. There's no doubt that that I've really benefited from an incredible support structure behind me, and mentors that, you know, I still call mentors and friends today. So, you know, people like Colin Hackworth, who led Hotham and Falls Creek back in the mid to late 90s, and Helen Moran, who followed in his footsteps, and Helen's still on the board. She's deputy chair of Alpine Resorts Victoria, so still involved in the industry. And Colin's still the CEO of the Australian Skiers Association. And yeah, just the, you know, the support and the opportunities that people like Colin and Helen gave me, and then later on our CEO during, gosh, it was the private equity days, I think, and we were listed for a while. A fellow by the name of John Shriver, and you know, I think for me it was about having a team around me that were, I guess, set up to help support me. And there's no doubt at times that I felt intimidated and reluctant to go into some of the workspaces, and, you know, transitioning from a marketing role into general management, and learning the operating side of the business, and getting comfortable walking into our workshop spaces, which were, you know, generally very male dominated, and still are very male dominated, although it's great to see an increasing number of women taking on apprenticeships, and you know, driving snow grooming machines and making snow. And you know, back in the day, our lift operations teams were predominantly male, and now they're generally 50-50, and it's just, it really does change the dynamics of those teams and the service that we provide at the resort. So yeah, you know, I've always gotten along really well with my male colleagues, not just at a business level, but at an industry level, and always felt very supported. But there's no doubt we've still got a lot of work to do, and my hope is that, you know, women working within our business, and young people generally, when they can see the likes of myself in a leadership role at Whistler Blackcomb, and our CEO's female, running, you know, the largest ski resort company in the world. Yeah, I just hope that others can draw inspiration and can see themselves growing in what is just such a fantastic industry.
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, even with mountain biking as well, I see so many more females participating in the sport.
Yeah,
that's really
it's great. I'm a pretty keen cyclist. I've probably done more road cycling in the last couple of decades, but grew up mountain biking back in the days when it was really fire trails, and you might have had some front suspension on your bike, but that was about it. And I remember, you know, doing some races in Victoria, and there were not many women. I think there was one that I did at Mount Buller years ago, and there might have been 3 women in our age category. And at Whistler this year, I'm participating in a ladies downhill night on a Monday night. I'm just going to be in a beginner group with wheels on the ground. But it's a super popular night. It sells out every year. They run 2 nights a week, and there's hundreds of women that participate, and they're out there with their full face helmets and all the protective gear, and yeah, giving it I mean, some of them are sending it like there's probably not like Caroline Buchanan, but not far off, I've got to say. It was great to meet her last year. Such a successful Australian rider. Over at Crankworks, as Queen of Crankworks last July, and yeah, it was awesome to see her in action. And I'm really looking forward to that event this year, because it's the first time that women have been able to participate in the Signature Joyride event, which is right in the heart of Whistler Village, as you look up from the Skiers Plaza. And last year I was like, wow, why aren't the women competing? And sure enough, and I don't take any credit for this, but it's great to see that the team at Crankworks and the female riders have decided that, yep, it's their time and they're competing now in those joyride events, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I suppose, well, mountain biking is a whole new sort of industry as well, isn't it? So,
yeah, I had to learn about brake bumps and brown pow. And brown pow is when we get a bit of rain and dust forms and the dirt becomes grippier. And it's really interesting. I mean, mountain biking is obviously a boom sport in the Sea to Sky corridor. Just listening to the team talking about riding down to Squamish through Whistler and then up in Pemberton to our north, and there's just trails everywhere. And of course the bike park is we say it's the best in the world, and it's celebrating 25 years this year, and it is great fun. We went out last year for the first time and had a beginner lesson with one of our coaches, and just the progression through the park for beginners right through to the experts is definitely worth doing for anyone. Ride a bike. It's it's a lot of fun, and it's a real adrenaline rush, and we make sure that people are recommended to wear the right padding, and the progression of the trails is just awesome. So it's been a real learning curve, and it's a different clientele. Relax generally, the bikers, and the mornings start a bit later, but we ride through until 8 o'clock at night, 7 nights a week. And excited about opening the Fitzsimmons chair for biking next week. It's an 8-seater chair, and we'll have it's 8-seated in winter, and there'll be 5 on it in summer with 5 bikes. So a real increase in our capacity for riding in what's a really popular zone. Have you been in summer?
No, I haven't. That was the first time I've been to Canada.
Okay.
In summer. Yeah, but I mean, I ride up here at Thredbo. We had 4 chairlifts running the last couple of summers for mountain biking, so that's as well.
Yeah,
because so many people say that mountain biking is bigger than skiing or snow at Whistler. Is that true?
No, it's not true. Winter's definitely still our busiest season. I think what people are referring to is Whistler's a really popular destination in summer, that there are people biking, hiking, we've got beautiful lakes, so the beaches are really popular. Took me a while to get my head around that a beach is by a lake. I'm so used to being surf coast in Victoria, but and there's 3 golf courses, they're world class. So there's a lot of folks in Whistler in summer, but they're doing lots of different activities, and certainly the bike park is a real draw card, but it's not as busy as winter, that's for sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought so, especially with that number of chairlifts and everything running in winter. Like, it's such a huge mountain, isn't it?
Absolutely.
2 combined.
Yeah, and there's lots of sightseers. I mean, the peak-to-peak gondola is a real draw card for locals and for international guests that are visiting Canada. And it's incredible the number of people that come through Vancouver that are heading up on cruise ships to Alaska. So it certainly brings a diverse audience through our region as well, which we're very fortunate to have.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will start winding this up because I've only just got the 40 minutes of the free Zoom call. But I suppose I want to know, what is it about the mountains that you love?
Oh, look, I think it's obviously to me it's their natural beauty and the ever-changing environment. It's also, I guess, what they offer in terms of how we recreate. So, I've always loved skiing, and now to be able to get out in the mountains more and hike and bike, it's fantastic. And certainly enjoyed hiking in the Snowy Mountains back in Australia. It's spectacular, and around Hotham as well. But I think too, for me, it's the people that the mountains draw and the communities that live both on, in and around the mountains. It's just, they're such eclectic communities, people from all walks of life that have decided to make the mountain communities their home. And it's been a really special part of moving to Whistler for us, to be a part of a community that's, I think we've got about 14 or 15,000 permanent residents in Whistler, and there's a great community spirit, lots of non-for-profit organisations supporting community efforts, from arts and culture to community services and sporting groups, and so that's been really fun as well. But yeah, just I drive to work or ride my bike to work in summer in Whistler, and looking up as I come down the Sea to Sky corridor, looking up Whistler, it's just wow. It's so spectacular, the scenery, and to think that we're biking and skiing from the peak of Whistler is incredible.
Yeah, it's massive. And so, what's your favourite season?
It's winter, but I've got to say the lure of the Whistler summer is pretty hard to resist. And
autumn must be beautiful there as well, with all the changing colour.
Yeah, absolutely. The changing seasons, but it's interesting. A lot of people that live in Whistler say they came for winter and stayed for summer. There's just so much to do in summer. We regularly have 3 sport days on our weekends in summer, with biking and hiking and maybe a game of tennis to finish off. Long days and beautiful weather. Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah, and just to finish with one question from DJ Eddie, he asked me to find out from you if the nightlife is as good at Whistler as it is at Hotham.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think Whistler's known for its parade, whether it's the bars in the Spears Plaza area at the base of Whistler. We've got the GLC, there's the famous Longhorn Bar and the Dublin Gate, and then tell DJ Eddie there's a great band that have played at Whistler now for, gosh, I think 2 decades, maybe a little bit longer, called the Hair Farmers, and they have 2 nights a week, I think, at Merlin's at the base of Blackcomb, and then 1 night a week at Dusty's down in Creekside. And they certainly light up the art parade in the afternoons. And there's I know Eddie would like to hit the clubs. I haven't necessarily. For me, it's the restaurants and some of the little bars that are tucked away that just make Whistler a great place to be in the evening as well as during the daytime.
Yeah, it's just got that real village atmosphere, isn't it?
It's hard to beat.
Lots going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank